Hello and welcome to a special Heroes World broadcast. I have gathered my Star Wars crew. These are the people that I talk Star Wars with all the times, the people that I've roped in to the Force. And here we are going to be talking Book of Boba Fett, Disney's latest live action Star Wars offering. So with me tonight is Megan Jin. Say hello, Megan.
Hello.
Scott Solo, all the way from the States. How you doing, Scott?
Good evening. I'm doing good. Thanks for having
All
me.
right. And we've got Jesse Rendar. How you doing, Jesse?
Not bad. How's everybody?
I'm doing great. And it's me, Andre from Heroes World, with my Star Wars alias, R2-Dre2. And like I said, we are talking the Book of Boba Fett. The first episode dropped today. And we are going to give you our first impressions, what we liked, what we didn't like, and possibly where we think this show is going. So first up, I think the most important character here, and a stellar job, Tamora Morrison, Boba Fett. We saw him in The Mandalorian. I think he kind of stole the show for The Mandalorian season 2. And we see quite I'm going to say a little bit of a different Fett than we got in The Mandalorian season 2. What do you guys think? Different Fett? Same Fett?
From Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Different, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very different, yeah.
More
What about you
developed.
guys?
Less angry, I feel.
He does have a sense of humor.
Yeah. This time he seems like he's a little bit more. I would almost say he's almost more playing like to the audience in a way. It's like he seems like he's got a little bit more to him, especially the scenes I thought when he was in Jabba's throne room lounging and stuff. But yeah, I also felt, and maybe rightfully so, because you can't have a unstoppable juggernaut, but I felt that he was significantly weaker in this. I'm like, wait a minute, we just saw you whooping all kinds of ass in Mandalorian season 2, and some chumps in the street kind of messed you up. So yeah, so we got I guess a multi-dimensional, some more dimensions to Boba Fett, but we also have another really good character joining him, and we did see her as well. This is Fennec Shand, played by Ming-Na Wen, and she is one of the galaxy's deadliest assassins. Quite a badass chick in this first episode, I gotta say. I think I'm more interested in the show about her. At this point here, she was really, really cool, especially when she's giving, kind of knowledge. She's his right hand person, and she's like, maybe you should do it this way. Should I kill this dude? She seemed like the person with all the right answers, all the gusto, all the initiative at first. So I really liked her character and stuff. So what about you guys?
Yeah, she was cool, but I was in the scene in the little village or wherever they were. I was just like, dude, she's supposed to be a master assassin. Like, you just see her like stumbling and getting hit by those electric swords, and I was like, come on, man.
Yep.
Mulan would do better than that.
Ooh, there it is.
Straight up. I agree 100%. I think that particular scene, it was almost like, first of all, he makes a point of saying, I'm going to walk down and show people who I am. I'm not going to be carried. I walk on my own 2 feet. Hey, let's not bring any weapons with us, though. Nope. Let's not bring our guns. No. Nope. Let's not have a sword or anything. And then the fight happens, and they're getting knocked about. And I'm like, okay, so you fired your one weapon. What about that handy flamethrower we all know you have? Like, yeah, it's an energy shield. I will burn your legs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Nope. Can't.
It was like a gap. It was a gap.
There's a gap. How about a trip? Why don't you go high, I go low? Maybe we trip one of those guys. Or, he had those really cool knee rockets. Maybe he ran out of ammo.
Don't
don't know.
Mandalorians have the grappling hook too? Isn't that like standard issue grappling hook?
Yes, pretty much. So I am going to chalk all of those instances up, though, to my good friend, Jon Favreau, pictured here on the left. And he is credited as the writer. It says written by Jon Favreau. On the right, in the action pose, we have got the director, Mr. Robert Rodriguez. And I think he did a pretty decent job. But back to my man, Jon Favreau, like this episode, like, again, who was it written for? Like, could you not have tightened it up like just a little bit? Like, there's all of this kind of stuff that's loosey-goosey, that's not like, he wrote almost all of The Mandalorian, or is credited with it, so how is it we have got this character who's now, significantly, or I shouldn't say significantly, but definitely looks weaker. This has to take place after where we see him in Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And now he is back to tank ridden, right? He's to the back. I think that's an interesting angle, but it's also very crippling. If in the first episode, like, he gets literally stunned a couple times, his armor really helped him, by the way. That's really, really great armor you got there, Boba Fett. Stormtrooper armor might have done a little bit more. And then he's like, take me to my back to tank. Dude, you were in the street for 5 minutes. Anyways, thought that could have been better written. I don't know if you guys were so critical as I was for that, but I just felt like this is Boba Fett. This is the guy that climbed out of the back to the Sarlacc pit. This is the guy that the galaxy fears. Not those Jawas, though. They will just strip them from. They will just be like, Wootini, I got a jetpack. I know it's green, but like, I guess they don't fear reputation at that point, right?
The moral of this episode is Jawas like suck, man. They stole his the coins out of his helmet when they knocked the helmet away. They took his armor
They're
off.
opportunists.
Punched him in the face. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Sure.
Jawas are getting a bad rap in all this Star Wars, but I will say I am going to be sorely, sorely disappointed if we do not have a scene of him going back and at least blowing up one Jawa sandcrawler, or not like going like Anakin Skywalker like he did to those Tuskens. Like listen, these guys jacked your armor, giving you nightmares. Let's see you do something. We know the Mandalorian couldn't even beat Jawas, so maybe that's it. Maybe Jawas are the secret, the defenders of the galaxy. Like they're just the ultimate in badassery. Let's not f with the Jawas, right? But let's
steal your
see
armor.
a scene somewhere where he gets a little bit of revenge or something. But
to your point, Andre, like that whole are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, we're right in it.
We're spoilers.
Yeah.
All the flashback sequences showed him, like you said, crawling out of the pit, and then like how he took his beatings, but like he was, I don't know if he's getting stronger, but I mean, obviously at the end he sort of, helped save the Tusken, I guess, girl, the child.
Yep.
And you could see him sort of getting that respect and getting that his bravado back, and then but in the real time, he got his ass kicked, and it's like so what was the point of the dream? The flashbacks showing him getting stronger if he's not strong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe episode 2, 3, maybe we'll get something more.
Oh, for sure. I think that you bring up something very interesting. I think the flashbacks to me throw off the pacing of this episode a lot. It's almost like they needed I don't want to say to have just a flashback whole episode or whatever. I think I would have rathered it been, one full episode in the past, one full episode in the present. One of my big things as a big Star Wars fan, as you guys know, but even if you're not a Star Wars, like a huge Star Wars guru or anything, the one thing that the original trilogy never did, and this goes to the sequel trilogy, is they never played flashbacks. There was never a single flashback in it. And I always thought that was a really, really cool tool, because anything that you needed to know, they told you or you saw, right?
Yeah.
They might have referenced something, but they never showed a flashback or anything. Always maybe like a kind of like they always talked about visions and kind of the future and stuff like that. And they always mentioned past events, which in those movies we never saw. Sure, in retrospect, you can go, oh yeah, but in the Han Solo movie, they show you the Kessel Run. Yeah, but that they didn't flash back in A New Hope to show you the Kessel Run.
Mm-hmm.
So in a lot of this new Disney stuff where they are putting in flashbacks, they just don't work for me. They don't have any to me, they don't have any weight, right? Like, we know that he got out. That would have been enough for that particular flashback. And we know that he was with the Tusken Raiders. So showing him in this scene with the Tusken Raiders and getting beat and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, what is the point of these episodes and stuff? And you kind of knew at that moment, you're like, okay, well, I know these guys aren't going to kill him because we know that he's there. And I know they're not going to have him tortured for a while because he hangs out with them. So then I'm watching it and I'm saying, okay, this is Boba Fett. This is one of the most feared men in the galaxy. And these Tuskens are punking him and treating him like nothing. And he literally talks to the what are they called, Scott? The Greedo guys?
Yeah.
Rodians.
Rodians. He talks to the Rodian guys.
Rodians.
He's like, hey, we can make it to Anchorage. Let's go. And the guy's like, no, I'm not going. Then they fight this really cool Mortal Kombat extra, right? A really, really cool scene.
So
right?
many abs.
This was awesome.
So many abs.
So many abs.
And he just kills them, yet decides to not kill the kid that punked him and then walk to Anchorage. Like, what was
I don't know.
What's the thought process? Again, I'm going to chalk that up to my boy Jon Favreau. This guy can't write, or he can't write well. I shouldn't say he can't write. I don't know the audience that he's writing this for. Maybe he's writing it just, I'm going to make it visually stunning for people. Maybe Boba Fett feels that, oh, I got no other people, so let me go back and hang out with these Tusken Raiders. They'd be happy I saved this child. Like, I don't get it. I thought that was a very big miss, and especially now, are they creating that other hero? Oh, this guy's heroic. Like, we got to show. No, Boba Fett is not a hero. He's a survivor, and he's a bounty hunter. He's not going to be nice to some kid, sand person kid, some Tusken Raider puppy dog thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you off me or you disrespect me. Like, that's like he should be having a book. I don't know your name, Tusken, but I'm gonna call you 2 grunts, you're dead. 3 grunts, you're double dead. You know what I mean? Like, he should be like, it doesn't make any sense to me, right?
Okay.
So yeah, maybe they'll get into why he does it, obviously. And obviously, yeah, we know where he got in the Mandalorian. So obviously my wish of him seeing Fett kill these guys isn't gonna happen because he was killing them. But the writer should give us more of a thing. Like, what if they just like, okay, yeah, they captured him for a reason. He does this, or, but just writing it like that when he could have left and didn't, like, it was just really, I don't know, just felt kind of off
Forced.
for me.
Yeah. I think it feels like they tried to force his like humanity really, really early. And like I feel like Boba Fett wouldn't be like, would you like me to undo your bonds there, buddy? Over there? Like, no, he'd be like,
Right?
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like dead weight, right? Like,
yeah.
So funny. All right. So let's talk about our favorite moment in the show. Jesse, do you want to start, or you need a minute to think of your favorite moment in the show?
Sorry. When Fennec was running across the buildings and punking those 2 guys, it brought me back to flashbacks of when she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She used to do that stuff all the time.
And there it is, the trifecta. There's the MCU drop.
Yep.
Mulan, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and now we got Disney.
Yeah.
2, she's a really good actor, but I feel like she's kind of been typecasted into the muscle, right?
Yeah.
Like, she did that in Shield. She was called the cavalry in the Shield. She came in and whooped ass and then left, and that was it. I feel like she's that role again in this Boba Fett, but I did like seeing her do all the martial arts and punking those two guys.
All right, Scott, what about you? Your favorite moment?
I liked the presenting of the gifts and the tributes. One, it has like sort of Boba Fett just kind of lounging there, and Fennec was the heavy, and the interaction with the mayor's the back and forth with the mayor's emissary. I liked, just gave a little I don't know, it grew the character a little bit, because Boba Fett literally does not talk a lot. He's a man of action, and at least in 4, 5, and 6, right? He's got like just a couple lines, but it was kind of nice to be like, did you get any of that? Nope.
Yeah.
Me either. Some of the little lighter side, because bad guys, I don't know if he's a bad guy, bounty hunter, but they still, he's got to have a little character, and I like to see that sense of humor.
Yeah. Megan, what about you?
So, speaking about that scene, the first thing that I noticed is the chair, and I was like, how did Jabba fit in that chair? It's too small for him. That was my first thought. But then, secondly, I also like that scene. But when I think it was the second one brought it looked like the skin of a Wookiee, and I was like, well, that's concerning. Chewie gonna be mad. But yeah, and then so the funny thing that I noticed, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the owner of the fancy cantina is Jennifer Beals. So she's the main actress in Flashdance, which I was like, dang, girl.
I did not know that. Wow. Now that you say that,
what's the connection there? Star Wars Flashdance. Haven't seen her in a little while, but hey, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope she gets to sit on a chair and have a bucket of water fall on her at some point while she's welding. That would be really cool.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Full circle.
Yeah, those are my favorite moments.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. And the one thing we have to give this show credit for is it looks beautiful. It's absolutely Star Wars, through and through, just great looking. Was there any visual effect or any kind of scene that really kind of blew you away? You're like, oh damn, this looks great. I'll start because I don't think you guys would pick this one, but I'm a super big fan of the Clone Wars stuff and even Attack of the Clones, and that going back to Kamino scene, and we saw the Slave One, and then all the water and stuff of Kamino. I'm like, that was very
sick.
Cool.
Yeah,
and I don't think that was a scene that they pulled from any of the movies. I think they redid that one. I thought that looked. I was like, oh damn, this is cool. Are we gonna get some more info from there? But maybe later we will. So, any other scenes that you guys thought were super cool?
I like the Sarlacc pit scene. It was dark. It was, and then all of a sudden he's going through. You can see he's panicking, and then he sees a stormtrooper, and he's like, "Okay, rip." I don't get what he did. Is that an oxygen hose? And he lit,
I think so.
I don't understand what he did, but it was a pretty cool scene.
I would imagine it's hard to breathe in there while being digested. Just
I guess the big difference would be if a stormtrooper's suit is kind of like a sealed environment suit. So if they were into space or anywhere, not into space, but a hostile environment, the suit has got its own oxygen tank. Whereas then they're insinuating that the bounty hunter or Boba Fett's armor that he had does not have that sealed suit. So when he just puts it, I guess you assume he puts it into his mouth underneath the helmet. So I
thought he put it in the his flamethrower to create oxygen so he could light a flame. But
could have been that. I thought he put it underneath. We'll have good eye. Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not sure though. I just like the aesthetic of the stormtrooper kind of vibed into the Sarlacc pit. It was pretty cool.
Which makes you wonder how long that stormtrooper had been there, because that Sarlacc pit was Jabba's personal, I think,
dumping
dropping
ground.
torture
Yeah.
hole. So maybe that's a story to be told. All right,
Flashbacks
Megan, do you
in
have
the
a
next
cool
episode.
scene?
So I like to try and find the small like Easter egg things. So even just that first scene where they're panning in and they're showing the room where the Bacta tank is, I was like looking around trying to find like different droids and stuff.
Yep.
And I saw I think it was his armor off in the corner. I was like, oh, that's cool. That was what I liked.
Nice. That actually was a pretty cool scene where those little robots put on all his little armor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's like, yeah,
It reminded me of Mulan again.
Yeah. Dress me.
Like, yeah, she's getting dressed by. I couldn't.
Hey, maybe Ming-Na also had the ear of the director. It's like, hey, you know what was really, really cool? Remember Mulan when we did that? So, yeah. That's super cool. All right, Scott, lastly, any cool scene that
I thought the creature I thought had looked pretty decent, with the fight and at the end. I liked, like we were kind of joking, it's like a better Goro, but I liked how it looked and moved.
this guy?
Yeah, it was. I don't know what kind of creature that is, or what the lore is behind it, but it was pretty cool looking.
I think this was a Star Wars first. I don't recognize this guy at all. But yeah, it was a crazy effect. Like, hey, I guess that's where the budget went for this episode, because it looked pretty solid, right? So
yeah, the budget went into giving him 25 abs. That's
totally.
what it was.
We do not want 20, make it 25. We need 5 more animators. Come on, let's make it work. Yes. All right. So what about I know we kind of briefly went around this, but was there anything in the show that really just in this first episode kind of turned you off, where you were just like, oh, I can't believe this, or something? Kind of a, shall we say, didn't make you want to turn off the show, but just something you didn't like, something that just made you go bleh.
So
Something
like at the end of The Mandalorian, the first episode, there was that like scene where you see the baby Yoda, right? And you're just like, oh, right? Something that draws you in. Whereas this one, you're just like, oh, he's drinking water. That's nice. It's like there was nothing, there was nothing that could bring in a potentially new audience, or even an audience that like wasn't familiar with Boba Fett. So I thought that was kind of underwhelming. Like there's overwhelming, there's underwhelming. It was whelming for me.
Yeah,
right in the middle.
No, I agree. I think that's exactly it. I think you nailed it on the head. This show does nothing for a non-Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So if you don't know anything about that stuff, you're watching this show, there's no great standout moment, there's no great standout performance, while the performances were not bad, and there's no not that we're all at work and have water cooler talk, but there's no, oh my god, did you see that moment in this show? Were you watching this? And I think that is going to be an issue, because I remember a lot of the buzz when The Mandalorian came out. They were saying, we want to make a Star Wars show that's accessible to people. And they set out to do that with a new character and stuff like that. And not necessarily a new scenario, but it went to totally different worlds. You could watch that first season of Mandalorian and not know anything about Star Wars. Whereas this particular one, it's like, what do you mean you didn't study Star Wars? You don't know who Jabba the Hutt is? You don't know who Bib Fortuna is? You don't know who a Trandoshan is? You don't know how the blah, blah, blah. You don't, it's just like, it's just all this stuff. They just assume you know it, and again, it's cool for us to see, but how cool is it for somebody who's new, or maybe even just only knows The Mandalorian, and they're like, oh, I'm going to watch some of this. So yeah, they'd recognize a Jawa, they'd recognize a Tusken Raider and stuff like that, but anything else, maybe you don't. So you're absolutely right. That's a great point. What about you, Scott? Anything that you?
Yeah, it started off. I mean, there was a little bit of a flashback, and like you said, that really I think hurt the pacing a little bit. But I don't want to make comparisons, but like, just coming off of like watching Hawkeye and having that street level view, like, and then they went to the, which I enjoyed that series, and we could, that's a podcast for another day, but the, like, that scene where, like I said, where they were in there and they were starting all the conversations and the negotiations, it kind of started to have that feel where like, oh, this is going to be like just 6-7 episodes of him like building the empire or working the city or working the mayor, or like some street level view, which I think would be kind of cool, just to see like the real life, just sort of a low level Boba Fett working his way up. And it got too choppy. Like I think the cantina scene was kind of cool. The tributaries was kind of cool. And then they put all the other stuff in there. And I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know where it's going. And so that was a little bit of a turn off.
True. I agree with that point too. Jesse, what about you?
Ready for a hot take? Who's Boba Fett?
Who is Boba Fett?
Yeah, like, what is the character Boba Fett is supposed to be? Because from 5 and 6, he's supposed to be a epic bounty hunter, right? Like, you send that guy out to kill somebody, and then when we see him in The Mandalorian, we get inklings of that. He's a tough guy. He knows how to fight. And in this show, we see a guy cracking jokes. Like, it doesn't seem like the Boba Fett I know.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the script, the writing. It was all over the place. I don't know what's going on in the show. I think they should have focused on him in this episode coming out of the Sarlacc pit and everything that happened. Instead of flashing back, we should have seen him come out.
Yeah.
Right? I think it would have been a better story because, like, why is he trying to take over for Jabba? Why does he care? Right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a bounty hunter. What's his fascination with Tatooine? Right? It just seems all over the place to me. But the story could flesh out in later episodes. It wasn't a bad first episode. It's just I don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what was the scene? The little Tusken kid took him to see the raiders of that one farm, and they were spray painting, and then like took him there, and I thought, oh, he's gonna like do something, and then like they just walk away and get water, and I'm guessing that will lead to something. But
I thought they were going to that house. I thought
they
needed something from that house, and I was like, oh, these are Jabba's guys, and they beat him to it. That's why he hates Jabba. But no, the whole episode confused me. Like, it was too mixed match.
Yeah. I actually forgot about that scene, but I think they were water farmers, and maybe the kid was just like, "Look how important water is. People are stealing it."
Well, it's funny because you get there's a couple things I think is at play, and again I don't know if he's writing it well enough. So you have that child who, again, you have the two kids kind of are maybe supposed to show their strength by beating up a prisoner or whatever, but then he's put in charge of the prisoner with his mastiff Tusken Raider dog. And then again, why walk him out there? I thought they were walking out there to trade for water. Then those guys leave, and I'm like, okay, so maybe they don't want to go there because maybe they don't want to get blamed for blowing up the place, right? But then they go scrounging for water, and I'm like, you guys just left the scene where there's literally water shooting out of the thing. I'm like, go get your jug and fill it up. Oh, you didn't even bring a jug. So you're supposed to then scrape for these. I don't even know what those things were, and it was like, again, and it's like when the kid just pours it, I'm like, you're not going to waste water like that on Tatooine. That water is life. You know what I mean? Like, you would put that thing in the dog's mouth or whatever. You're not going to just pour it out unless like, I'm again, Mr. Favreau, I'm not buying it. Tighten up your writing. It's not going to change. Everybody's still going to be able to understand it. I feel that there's a certain level of, again, I don't want to sound condescending, but I think it's written like at the level of an 8 or 10-year-old. But then even there's going to be parts of 8 or 10-year-olds not even going to understand because it doesn't make any sense, right? So it's just like, maybe, if you're implying something, you might have to imply it better. And then you get like that one scene right after where the kid's like, oh, clearly I slayed this monster, and he's parading it around, and I'm like, there's no way you slayed that monster with your stick. You have a stick, and that guy's head's been sheared off. So then you got that really cool scene, I guess, with the other Tusken Raiders, right? Like this guy's like, okay, yeah, here you saved my son, or here you go, here's water finally, or whatever. And I will say these Tusken Raider guys looked really cool. But again, the ass whooping that they laid onto him when he tried to escape, there's no way he is not getting revenge on those guys. Do you know what I mean? Like there's just no way. So again, we got 7 episodes, so maybe we'll place bets and maybe we'll be like, yeah, Andre was right. He killed one of them, but I guarantee I don't know. I wish you'd, but like to me that doesn't make any sense. The stuff that I was really hoping to see in this first episode, I'm going to give them a couple episodes to get there, but I really want to see in one of these flashbacks or whatever, I want a reason that makes sense that it took him 5 years to go back and get his armor.
Yeah,
right. And if Favreau cannot pull that together and stuff, I'll be like, yeah, no, this is the like. I'm gonna say it. He's done. He's done. I'll watch Filoni's written stuff and stuff. But this to me, that's dumb. Like he might not remember that Jawas took it or whatever, but when we saw him in The Mandalorian, he clearly knew where his armor was because he followed the Mandalorian to that place. And then he got in his Slave One and followed them again. So I'm like, well, where's his ship been for 5 years then? You know what I mean? There's all these kind of what ifs, and sure, you don't have to necessarily answer everything and make it like so tight. But again, you're just like, you're establishing this character. Like Jesse said, you can't have the character be strong, stoic, silent, and then, Joker or, hey, I want to be a mob boss. You know what I mean? Like, from what point do we get, hey, I'm going to help you get Baby Yoda back? And then, hey, Fennec, what are you doing right now? Nothing. Hey, let's go back to Tatooine and take over.
His character's all over the place. Like
all over the place. Yeah.
I don't know what Boba Fett is. Right? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he Tony Soprano? Is he a Mando buddy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's no clear direction for him. Right? Like, I don't know. I like the episode, but it's just, I want to see where it's going. Like you said, Andre. Like, I hope it pays off. It's the first episode.
You don't want him to be a good guy. Why would he ever? I mean, like, he could be maybe the best guy, but like, I don't think he's going to be a good guy, right? Like, he shouldn't be a good guy.
Yeah. And I think that's weird. I don't know if Disney Plus is going to make us or give us a show about a bad guy. Maybe that's why they're trying to make him, oh, look, he helped save the kid and stuff like, and he didn't kill all these Tuskens, even though they wronged him. Oh, and he forgave the Jawas. Like, maybe again, but we already have that. We've already seen that character in The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? We've already seen that archetype. So it would be cool. You want to give us an underworld look, like, yeah, what if he said, no, I'm going to become the leader of the new Bounty Hunters Guild, and I'm going to run it with a tight fist, but a fair fist out of respect. And I'm going to, I'm going to make up for all those years that I was whatever poor. But again, money probably never was an object for him. I don't know. Anyways, we'll have to wait and see. So our final go around, let's rate this episode. Let's do it out of 10. What do you guys give it out of 10? I'll give you a minute to think. I'll start first. Again, visually, I thought it was stunning. It was Star Wars. Again, you can never knock Disney for what they're doing. But it did have a lot of problems, pacing for me, writing for me, general direction and interest. So I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10 for a first episode. So what about you, Jesse?
Oh, I was going to say B-. So I think that's about a 6? I think it's a 6.
No, right? 6. B- would be a 6.5.
B- is a 7.
Yeah.
Okay,
7.
A 7. It did look very nice. I did like catching up with the characters. I like that we saw a Greedo. I like that that robot, his servant robot. He had a very weird face, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
like, he had a humanoid face.
Yeah,
I did like the episode, but yeah, B-. This script just
changing the scale.
Yeah. So I go out of 10, and we're getting letters here. What's it? Algebra? Come on now.
Sorry, 7.
Yeah.
Sorry, 7. 6.5, 7.
Scott, What are you giving this
Yeah,
episode?
like you said, visually, like you hit on the Tuscan, like the costumes and the mat. That was like spot on. Looked really great. Yeah, I was gonna say I was waffling between like 6.5. I'll give it 6.5. Nostalgic. I like getting back to the characters a little bit. Jesse brings up a good point. Who is Boba Fett? I mean, I kind of liked it because I feel like he's this badass, but like I feel like there must have been some downtime where he was doing something funny, or was he just always like quiet on his ship, not talking to anyone? And
Yeah.
so I don't know, maybe. But overall 6.5. With I'm curious to see where this goes. Hopefully it goes up.
Megan.
Yeah. Same 6.5. Just I don't know. Like I said, it was whelming. It wasn't under or over. It was just whelming.
Yeah.
Like
That's the new word.
That's the best.
Yeah. Just whelming.
Not over, not under.
Just little.
That's the thumbnail. Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Whelming.
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 Love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And thank you out there for tuning in and checking us out. We may talk some more Boba Fett. Hopefully something gets us fired up and excited enough to jump back on here and do something live. But until then, make sure you check out Heroes World online for so much content that you will not know if you have time to watch it all. We've got Sunday, the Heroes World podcast. We've got the Sidekick show on Monday evenings. We've got Thursday, So What I Miss, and Friday, TGIF. And that's our show talking about all the good things that come into the store, and we get excited for what we're doing on the weekend. Also, look forward to when the four of us finally get back to do our final book club review on the last part of the Thrawn trilogy. So until then, keep watching. Let us know what you think and comment, and let us know if we are wrong. Do you disagree or do you agree? We love to discuss. Take care.